Throws deep. Far sideline, Jacoby Jones has it at the 20. Jacoby Jones, touchdown, Ravens.
Dixon fires it up to the top of the Georgia Dome roof, and the kids have done it. Maryland wins their first ever national championship.
Cruz is in. Pierce is in. Party around third. He's going to try to score. And safe. The Orioles have the lead.
Welcome to episode 1 of the new 95 Connected podcast, a podcast discussing the Terps, O's, Ravens, and whatever else we feel like talking about. My name is Pat, your host,
Hi, Pat.
and adjacent to me is my co-host, Josh. Josh, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Loud and clear. I can hear you loud and clear, Josh. Okay. Excellent.
All right, neato.
Yeah, this is going great already. So the first question that anybody listening to this is going to ask is, why is there another podcast being sent to me? And the reason is, go ahead.
Well, not only that, I don't think there's enough podcasts for straight white males in their 30s. So,
That's right.
what's one
Yeah.
more?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We'll just, that's the way it is. So we're going to keep going. We're going to edit all this out. All right. But we're starting it because Josh and I met through work, and we still work together through different career
But
paths.
not together. But
We're not together, but we work together.
We work
But,
together.
yeah.
Non-sexual way.
Jesus Christ. So every single day, we're on Teams, messaging each other, complaining about the Ravens or the Terps or whatever. So one day, a couple weeks ago, I said, I need more than this. I need more than a Teams message. I need to get this out of my brain. And I used to get it out of my brain back in the day when I wrote for a couple blogs. I had my own blog that I don't need to shout out because it's defunct. I don't even think the website exists anymore. I had another one called Baltimore Sports Report. I asked Manny Machado a question once.
You did. And then he left the
I
Orioles.
did. Yeah, it was a stupid question. But I asked it, and he answered it. And I can tell in his eyes. He's like, that was a stupid fucking question. Yeah. But that's okay. So here we are. We are creating a podcast, and the intent is not to get famous. The intent is not to make money. That would be nice. Well, but we're basically, Josh, have you seen that trend from a couple months ago where those guys our age would call each other just to say goodnight? That's pretty much what this is we're just calling each other to talk about sports. And maybe we'll hit 3 people will listen to us, and it's our wives who opened it just to make us feel better. And then, Derek from Brooklyn Park is going to listen to it, and then he's going to try to contact us and complain.
Give us money. Yeah,
exactly. So anybody else listening, if any of our friends are listening, one day, maybe we'll invite you on, especially considering I am about to grant you, Josh, unpaid paternity leave from this podcast at the end of the month because you are expecting number 2.
Well, thanks, man. But I also get 2 weeks. But
right, but I'm going to give you personal
Oh.
unpaid leave.
Yeah,
so
you're the hero.
Anyway, yeah, okay. So that's all the good background on that. So let's just get right into it, shall we? A couple weeks ago, our good friend Jim Smith, who is the new athletic director at Maryland, came from the Braves last. I don't remember who he was before that. But he put out a letter saying he has the utmost confidence in Mike Locksley, and he will be returning as Maryland's head coach next year, which is an interesting thing to say because Locksley's contract goes through 2027, but he only said 2026. So who knows what that means? But essentially, despite 2 4-8 seasons in a row, 8 losses in a row to end the year, Mike Locksley's coming back. It is what it is. We have to deal with it. So let me just go through Mike Locksley's resume here, Maryland resume.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's start with the good. They won 3 bowl games. First one was Pinstripe Bowl against Virginia Tech. Then they beat NC State in the Mayo Bowl, for which I was in attendance. And then 2 years ago was Auburn in the Music City Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Beat down.
Can you think of the other good?
Well, he convinced a billion talented wide receivers to come to Maryland, and then blew it by having no one on defense, and then not having anybody for the offensive line to protect Tua Bro, and then we're not supposed to be blown. We're supposed to be saying things he's good at.
Yeah, so you're positive
cornerback.
He can recruit the skill players. We said wide receiver because he had Dante Demas or that was his name, right? Dante Demas?
Yeah,
Dante Demas.
Rack Jarrett.
Yep, Rack Jarrett. And then he had a few cornerbacks that are in the NFL. That's it, right? Okay. We did it. We gave Mike Locksley some credit. How many winning records does Mike Locksley have without Talia Tagovailoa?
Oh, yeah, I don't think he won.
0. Zero is the correct answer. His conference record in the Big Ten is 16-43, which is a 27% winning percentage. He has never beaten a ranked Big Ten team. The only ranked teams that he has beaten were non-conference teams like Syracuse, who came to town ranked 22nd for some reason.
Yeah, it's like when Maryland
beat the brakes off of them. It was like, okay, yeah, Maryland's good. We know until October, until crabbing season, Maryland is a playoff team, but never beaten a ranked Big Ten team. Now, I will do one point of fairness. No Maryland coach since joining the Big Ten has beaten a ranked Big Ten team. They are 0-40 since joining the Big Ten. So you can't really knock Locksley. None of them can do it. None of them.
To be fair, it is a very easy, I don't understand, but it is very easy to win in the Big Ten. All you need to do is recruit everyone on the front line. That's it. And then the quarterbacks and wide receivers will come. You just run the ball and get to the quarterback. Iowa has been ranked for some reason every year because of it. And they have dog shit offense.
Dog shit. That's the only way to describe it. Remember, what was it, a couple years ago when the punter was like by far their best player? And you can't even call him an offensive player, but he was like their best player on the side of the ball where they were in control of the ball. The last little bit here for Mike Locksley's resume is not only has he not beaten a ranked Big Ten team, he has not beaten a Big Ten team that has finished the conference season with a winning record. The only teams they have beaten in the Big Ten finished the year with a losing record in conference.
They could have done it this year, but they decided to run the ball 3 times in the second half against Washington. Blew that. And then completely shit the bed the following week. Just like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, no, right, exactly. It's insanity. The fact that he's coming back. Okay, so with that said, go ahead.
It's not insanity. Look, the buyout was $14 million. You had a 5-star recruit that wanted to somehow come to Maryland despite all the other schools reaching out to him, and you had a pretty good freshman class. So okay, all right, there's, I can see why.
Yeah, I'll touch on that in a second, but we're going to go back to this year. You mentioned the run game. I wrote down in my notes here, the run game, where is it? Not there. And you said it earlier.
It's in Indiana.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's in Indiana. Oh, my goodness. You talked about the offensive line and defensive line earlier. I mean, that would be the reason that they're not running the ball. That's the easy reason. Let me say a couple things that are going to say maybe there's a different reason. And I think the other reason is because they put so much stock into Malik Washington being an immediate impact player. They're going to say, we're going to lean on that guy because the running backs they had were not Roman Hemby. They weren't as good. They were Roman Hemby's backups. So Hemby, exactly. They were not Hemby. They were Hemby's backups.
Trivia for you. Okay, so if you remove Malik Washington and add up the top 3 running backs or season yards, what do you think they have?
Total yards?
Total yards, total rushing yards.
Receiving total rushing yards, taking Malik Washington out.
Yep.
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say it's under 300 yards.
For the 3 top running backs, it's 915 yards combined total. The top running back, Dwan Williams, had 501 rushing yards for the season and then Malik Washington was 303, Nolan Ray 289, and then Iverson Howard 125. Now, when you look at Roman Hemby and that running back crew, Hemby alone had 866 total yards so far for the year. We know he's probably going to get more. And then Kalon Black, 730, and then Kobe Martin, 452. So that's combined 2,048 total rushing yards. It's an easy sport.
2,048 is what Indiana had?
Uh-huh.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, that like I said in my notes, I said the wait, no?
No, you did. Well, you did. You're at that.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes, where is it? It's non-existent. And like I was saying, it's because they leaned on Malik. Probably too much. Not too much. No, they leaned on him too much. And here's how you know he leaned on him too much. Malik Washington led the Big Ten in completions and attempts. That's nice, to lead in completions. But he also led in attempts and therefore did not lead in completion percentage, which is fine. True freshman. This is not Malik bashing day. That's not what we're doing.
We love Malik.
I am just saying numbers to show why this team may or may not have succeeded. May not. They didn't succeed.
They did not succeed.
So
whatsoever.
Led the conference in attempts and completions. He was 24th in the country. He was 24th in the country among all quarterbacks in total yards, which, there are more than 23 teams that are better than Maryland. So, obviously it's not a stat of what teams are good. I'm just saying they threw it that much.
1 billion times.
Yep. They were 37th in passing yards per game, which sounds about right. If they, if the completion percentage wasn't that high, sure, they threw the ball a lot, but that's another thing. They dropped the ball a lot, but
1 billion times.
Won't even touch that yet. They were 127th in the country in rushing yards per game.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I had to click the next button on the next page 3 times to find them. That's not good. They need to run the ball. And I don't know if I don't think it's running back skill. I think it's run blocking skill.
I think it's a little both. They were very suspect on skills at the running back position.
I would agree, but I think there have been running back rooms in Maryland's history that they were probably better than this one, but there were still some running back rooms that were not great, and I never really felt like Maryland was ever bad at running the ball. This year, they were bad at running the ball. I mean, even, what was his name? Devin Meggett, who couldn't hold on to the ball. He wasn't a good running back, but they ran the ball, and he had some good runs on those teams. I will say,
this goes back to, we're trying not to delve on Locksley, but, I mean, Anthony McFarland was a special talent. Jake Funk He was fine. He was okay. He's a running back. He's in the NFL. Let's just and was it Talon Fleet Davis? Another pretty talented running back. I still remember the game where they lost to Temple, where they ran the ball the same route 3 times right up the middle. Locksley's offense for running is not unique. It is that is another issue. Is like it's either jet sweep or hey, let's go as fast as we can right up the asshole of the left guard.
Yep.
So figure it out.
Figure it out. And we think the probably the biggest thing, again, we just talked about the running back rooms. It's not a great room, but probably the biggest factor is the O-line. So I'm going to read you some more stats here on this Maryland team in regards to the O-line. And it's really just one stat. They allowed how many? I'm just going to give you my own trivia. How many sacks do you think Maryland quarterbacks took this year?
I know Malik only had 8.
I'm just going to stop you there. It was 9 total sacks this year on Maryland quarterbacks. Now, I thought about this long and hard.
Pause.
That's why I paused. I thought about this for a long time. Why would that be? And why would a team whose quarterback was upright for that long be this bad? I think it's a few things. One is wide receivers couldn't catch the goddamn ball.
Nope.
So Malik Washington does not hold on to the ball. We know that. Quick release, sometimes too quick, and he throws it 100 miles an hour when he doesn't need to. That's freshman stuff. It's fine. That's fine. He'll figure it out. So why wouldn't they be successful? I think, again, it's them dropping the ball. 2, lots of 3 and outs because of the run plays called at the beginning. And basically they've got 3rd and long all the time. And you got to get rid of the ball. You can't take a sack on 3rd and long. So they didn't take a lot of sacks on 3rd and long, but the wide receivers couldn't catch the ball, and the play calling was horrible. So they would throw, little 3-yard outs on 3rd and 12 and get 4 yards and punt. So I want to give the O-line credit. I want to give them pass protection credit, but I don't know if I can. I don't know if they had the opportunity to protect him because they were off the field so much in the last 2/3 of the year. So I don't know. I think what they need on offense next year, and they got to get it in the portal at this point.
Here's the other thing is they all knew Maryland was going to throw the ball because their running backs sucked. They just needed to have 4 guys on the line and they would be able to stop the run. So they had 50 million guys in the secondary.
Yep.
But
I think that is from what I've read of Pep Hamilton and his accolades in the past, that is a Pep Hamilton thing. For those who don't know, Pep Hamilton is the offensive coordinator at the University of Maryland. Used to be at Michigan. He has a 3-2 record in the XFL. So that's good. Good for him. But I've read that is a Pep Hamilton thing, is that the offense is so predictable it hurts.
Wow. Like Locksley doesn't change his stripes. He just changes sizes.
Yeah. And to back up my other point, I had another stat here. And it kind of goes back to my point about 3rd downs. In 3rd down conversion, they were 92nd in the country. 37% of the time they converted 3rd down. And I think that's because, like I said earlier, they had too many 3rd and long situations. And it was because the running backs were not good. The running game wasn't good. Or they had those ungodly penalties that just showed up.
Yeah.
When you have a 15-yard screen pass, whatever. Nope, holding. That's coming back. Or you have that screen pass, it gets a first down, or you get to 2nd and 1 or 3rd and 1 is going to be the down and distance, and they go, oh, your offensive lineman grabbed the one guy's helmet and threw it into the stands. The discipline was not there.
You ready?
Yep.
72 penalties.
Mm-hmm.
655 total penalty yards.
Yeah, it's a lot. I have another thing here. That's 72nd in the country, which is like mid-pack. So that was another one where I thought long and hard. And I'm like, how is that possible? Because it felt like every single impact play was brought back by a penalty. So I thought about it. It's like, okay, well, that goes back to, again, maybe because they had 3rd and out so many times that they didn't have the chance to commit more penalties, or the penalties were just so untimely that it felt like they were they were worse than mid-pack.
Well, it was
it
was stupid penalties. It was like, well, like our first, except for, I think it was the Nebraska game. Well, I think it was a Nebraska game where one of the linebackers got thrown out of the game for helmet to helmet, and it's just you keep looking at it, and it's just like, no, that was not helmet to helmet. And then in the second half, the same thing happened to Malik, and they're like, oh, it was just hard-nosed play.
Yep.
That's the only one, but all the other ones is like it's 3rd and 4, and they block the pass, and then they immediately go over to like the quarterback and haunt them, and it's like, dude, the ref is right there, man. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's just stupid. And as a new podcast, we should know these things better. But there was one game where I think it was the same guy had I think it was 2 personal foul penalties on the same drive on the defensive side of the ball, and it came on stops. Like they got a 3rd down stop, and it was and after the play he smacked the guy in the helmet, or he taunted him, something like that. It was just like every time you think Maryland turned a corner on defense, oh, here comes the laundry.
So
just
since Lockley's been coach, 2019, 70 penalties, 585 yards. We're going to skip 2020 because that doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
2021, 87 penalties, 738 yards. 2022, my favorite year, because this was the one year I thought that, like, they actually could have gone if they stopped making stupid mistakes. 101 penalties, 924 yards.
That was the year where the big game was Friday night against Iowa, and Talia threw like 4 picks in the first quarter, right? That was that year.
No, that was the year where it was Ohio State and they lost 30-43 with 10 penalties, 97 yards. And that was the game where every time it was like, boom, we're gonna win. It's over. And they fucking punch a guy in the throat for some reason. Anyways, okay. 23, 72 penalties, 735 yards. 24, 77 penalties, 703 yards. Are you noticing a trend on how many goddamn penalties this team does?
That's what, like 6 a game on average in a Maryland good year. 101 is you're pushing 12 or 10 a game, which you can't win like that. You just can't. And that's what we're saying is, and you see it online and whatever, where people are saying it's not like this is a new thing. Every single team, every single year is the same. Every time you think Maryland's making progress, they go backwards. And then those press conferences that Mike Locksley gave saying, oh, well, we won a road game. We won a road game. That's improvement. It's like, buddy, you've lost 4 in a row. And we're talking about the Wisconsin game still, which there were times where we thought, this one could get out of hand,
mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
He also, and just to put a bow on it, I think what is Jimmy, our boy Jimmy Smith, I think we all know. I think he said, probably told Locks, like, dude, you got to figure it out. You have 1 year to drastically improve this team because we all know, first off, he needs to make sure that Malik and the rest of the freshmen stay. The good freshmen, the bad ones they can leave, but the good freshmen who've played well, give them whatever dollar amount it is, keep them around. But next year, these guys are not going to stay on a losing team. Malik can probably go anywhere he wants and he will get a bag. Zion will be gone.
Yep.
And all these freshmen will be gone, and they'll have to restart again and hire somebody from JMU to build this team up again until that coach kills an offensive lineman, and then we have to start all over again for the following 3 years.
Yep. And I think you said it earlier. I said it was insanity staying, and you're absolutely right. It's not insanity staying. We get it. If you lose Locksley, you lose Malik, you lose Zion, you lose Zaire Mathis, and you're starting from scratch. That's one factor. I think another factor is the calls for Locksley's job have been out there for years, but when they really started to hit this year, Penn State already had an opening. There were rumblings that LSU was going to have an opening, which means there were rumblings that Ole Miss was going to have an opening. Virginia Tech was going to have an opening. The competition for coaches we would have gotten the bottom of the barrel. The last bit is like, who's left? Who knows? Now, what's funny, it warms my heart, and I apologize to our good friends from our softball team who are Penn State fans if they listen to this.
I don't feel bad.
This warms my heart that Penn State is going to get bottom of the barrel because everybody wants to go everywhere else. I love that for them, and I wish them the best. I will say I did find myself very conflicted in watching a Penn State game this year. I think it was against Indiana. It was against Indiana because it was a really good game, and Penn State's interim coach Terry Smith was my father-in-law's quarterback in high school. So, we're watching and we're rooting for Terry because he's a family friend.
Terry also wore a Joe Pa sticker.
Okay. I don't like Terry anymore. All right. So, to put a bow on Maryland football, because we could do this all night. What do you think? Okay. What do you think Jim's expectations are? What are Jim Smith's expectations of Maryland? What in his mind will say 2026 was so good, I'm bringing Locksley back to not only finish his contract, but I'm going to put 5 more years on it. What do you think that is?
So let's see. Oh my God, they play Virginia Tech next year.
They play Virginia Tech for the next 4 years. 5.
Surely their coach, didn't. I mean, to be fair, he hasn't had if he came to Maryland, which he probably had a chance when he was at Vanderbilt, I think he would have done a really good job at Maryland. He probably would still be here, and they would be like the elite university in football. But I don't know where he was before Vanderbilt, but he probably did a pretty good job wherever that was.
I don't know. Where it was.
Fuck that athletic director. All right, so 1, 2, 3.
Kevin Anderson.
Fuck him. 8, 9, 10. All right, so 12 games does not look like an easy schedule. They need to go.
Because we got they. Sorry, they. This is anyway.
All right.
Michigan, I assume, is on there, or not Michigan. Ohio State, I assume, is on there.
Ohio State. Are they? Yeah. All right, so let's go game by game, and we'll count it together. They play the Hampton Pirates.
Okay, 1-0.
1-0. UConn.
2-0. Maybe 2-0.
Come on. No, we have high expectations for this team next year.
Okay, high expectations. 2-0.
Virginia Tech.
2-1.
I'm going to go.
Nope, 3-0.
I'm going to go 3. They're still a year away, I think.
Yep, I agree.
Illinois
3-1.
at home.
3-1.
At home. Nope. I'm going to go 4-0.
All right.
Penn State.
All right. We'll go. All right. 5-0.
Rutgers.
I think they're in shambles. 6-0.
We said Rutgers. UCLA.
7.
Wisconsin.
8.
At Nebraska.
9.
At Ohio State.
9-1.
At Purdue.
10-1.
At USC.
11. I'm glad you did this because I think that's the minimum expectation. And it sounds, and other people listen to this, if some loser from Ohio State listens to this, finds it somehow, first of all, I hate you. Second, look, that's my expectation.
The fuck they do there.
That's what Indiana did. Indiana was not a good football program. Kurt Cignetti shows up, and they're one of the best programs in the country. And everybody thought last year was a fluke. Guess what? It's not a fucking fluke. They're good. My expectation next year is that Maryland is the next Indiana. If they are not the next Indiana, Locksley needs to be fired. If they win fewer than 9 games, Locksley needs to be fired because they're
100%.
going to lose everybody. And we know that if you have as good of a team as we think we're going to have next year, as they think they're going to have next year, then 7 wins isn't enough. 8 wins, and the Military Bowl isn't good enough. So I hope that Jim Smith has the same expectations of us as us. So anyway, okay. We've beat Maryland football to death. And I knew we were going to do that today. It is what it is. We're on to the next. There's no bowl game. We can just watch the CFP playoff madness. And I think the final rankings are going to come out. I think, I was wondering how often do we want to do this podcast? I don't think it will have to be weekly every week, but I think we're going to have to do one next week because I cannot wait for the CFP to be announced. So we'll talk about that on the next one,
okay.
I think. All right, where do you want to go next? Maryland basketball is fresh off of a wonderful win against Wagner. I had Wagner plus 22.5, so I'm still a little bit perturbed by that. But it was a refreshing game because they pulled away. Now, in the first half, Wagner had a lead, which is not good. But they got it together. Farrell Payne was exactly what he needed to be. What do you have? 30 points, right?
Yeah, and with a billion free throws.
That's fine. Love
fine.
That's guy. What the MVP in the NBA does. Baby, get to the line. Funny enough, as of when was that game? Tuesday? That game was Tuesday. Mm-hmm. That was technically an upset if you go by
with the net.
The net. Wagner was 198th or 197th, and Maryland was 200th. Since then, since that win, Maryland has moved all the way up to 171st in net.
Oh.
They were at one point the second lowest rated Power 4 team by net. Now there's a few behind them, including multiple Big Ten. I think Rutgers was one, and there might have been one other, and then Georgia Tech is down there. Anyway, not the second worst Power 4 team. Nope, in basketball, it's the Power 5 because of the Big East. It's only Power 4 in football, which I heard in Robert Griffin's fun little rant the other day. He said, just call it the Power 2 in football because that's what it is. If you're not going to let undefeated Florida State in, if you're going to look at if Virginia, like if Duke wins the ACC, okay. If Virginia wins the ACC, they should get in. They won the ACC. But it is what it is. Anyway, we're not getting back into football. Maryland, as of yesterday being Wednesday, was 90th in KenPom. For those who don't know, KenPom is a Kenneth Pomeroy created rating system that is, I think, the Bible of how good how good college basketball teams are. So 90th in KenPom, but they haven't really played anybody that other than the teams that they got absolutely destroyed by. What's frustrating is, there was one point where that Georgetown game thought, oh, this Georgetown team might actually be pretty good. Well, according to net, they were a quad 3 loss. So Maryland already has a quad 3 loss. Georgetown's not that good. Therefore, Maryland's not that good. So expectations are what? Miss the tournament and get to next year. I think. Keep
Rice. Here's the issue. Adams. I think when first off, play Nick Blake, but whatever. When Passamore tore his Achilles, I think that hurt. I know that he didn't play much at Kansas, but come on. I think he was a 4-star recruit.
It's a depth thing. It's a depth thing. You lose that depth. But, I mean, he was at Kansas, yeah.
Yeah, I think he was a top 100 recruit. Anyways.
Yep.
So, you know what? Have a couple. Make it. This team is like Willard's first year when nobody wanted to come to Maryland. Nobody knew who the coach was going to be. It became a complete mess. Willard brought over his bargain barrel recruits, and all they did is they played hard. You celebrated that, and then you know what they had a couple upsets. But then the following year, the 5-star recruit he brought in, very good transfers, and he completely screwed it up by being the biggest distraction in the whole entire goddamn world. Fucking asshole.
Yep. So I think you're right. This year is a wash. What they need to do is just get through it, keep people healthy as they can, because they started not healthy. Keep people healthy. Try to keep Pharrell Payne. I don't know if that's happening.
He's a senior.
I think he's a junior, isn't he? Doesn't he have another year of eligibility, or he's a senior with another year of eligibility?
He might have another year of eligibility, but you got to keep Rice.
Try to keep Darius Adams. Baba's coming next year, and then you hope you get a couple more recruits and you hit the portal. And this is all. And Buzz Williams even said it. He said they're going to lose games that they should not. They're going to win games that they should not. It is what it is. Let's just get through it. We had a warning ahead of time that this wasn't going to be a good year. We know now that Solomon Washington is healthy. He's not the savior. He's going to get you some rebounds. He's going to get you 10 points and a block or two, and that's it, which is fine. That's good for depth, but he wasn't the savior we hoped he would be. So it is what it is.
If you are Quaden Samuels, 5-star recruit, literally one grade below Baboot, come to Maryland, man. Yeah. You know what? You can carpool. I don't care. And then Caden House, 4-star recruit, shooting guard coming in next year. You got a pretty good depth if you get it, bring in a couple shoot. This college basketball is all about 3-point shooting, and it's stupid. But if you bring in athletes, Buzz will do what Buzz does: is have them play hard, run up and down the court with their hair on fire, and then by midway through the second half, the other team's gonna be like, oh, "Fuck this! I'm not doing this. We'll lose this game. We'll play another week."
I just need them. I know it's been a Buzz Williams thing everywhere he's been. The perimeter defense is awful.
Well, that's been a Maryland thing for years.
It's been a Maryland thing, but it's also a Buzz Williams thing, so we're not expecting that to change. So what you need is they hit a 3, you come down, you hit a 3, or go to the basket and get them in foul trouble. I mean, it's just basic.
It's an easy concept.
It is what it is. Yeah, it's not hard. It's not a hard sport. Not a hard sport. Now, here's one thing. Here's a good thing. The women look good. The women look good.
Mm-hmm.
I need to start betting on the women and not the men.
Damn right.
But all right, so that's Maryland basketball. So I think where we'll go next. Oh, I don't even want to talk about the Ravens, but we're going to. Just extended Mark Andrews for 3 years.
Some reason.
Basically, you're telling Isaiah Likely, thanks, see you later, finish out the year. So hopefully he doesn't just phone it in. But at this point, everybody's phoning it in. It seems like they all suck. Lamar's hurt. He won't admit
He's been
it.
hurt all year.
He's been hurt
you know
all.
what?
He wasn't
what's
hurt week
annoying?
1. That's it.
No,
He's been hurt since.
I think since training camp, when they said, "Oh, somebody stepped on his foot," he has not had the same burst he's had all year. I think he's still an elite pocket passer, so that was able to shine week 1, but I don't think he's had his legs under him all year.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think I also think he's an elite pocket passer, and I think the stats show that. The problem is he doesn't have a pocket.
That is also
It's
true.
gone.
Hey,
The
Falele's
pocket
doing his
is
best.
gone. I want them to play. I didn't see it last Thursday, but I also tuned out at halftime because I'm tired and I want to go to sleep. And I knew the writing was on the wall for me. I knew what was going to happen in that second half. But I think it's Prime has the pocket health graphic where it's like it's got the little dots, and as the pocket expands or gets tighter and collapses, the little dots turn yellow and green and red. Red bad, green good. I feel like if they put the pocket health graphic around Lamar, it would immediately be red. And he's got to throw the ball so quick or panic, and he's overthrowing guys, he's underthrowing guys. And
He's
then
also
sometimes
holding
he
off
hits
the
them in the
ball
hands, they
way
don't catch
too
the ball.
long this year.
I agree.
That's been a problem, and I think it's also because
He's hurt.
the wide receivers aren't getting open.
Yep.
But in most of the times, he would stay. I think he'd have an internal clock in his head. I mean, last year when he had an MVP season, but they took it away because we all know why. We don't need to bring it up, but he would stay in the pocket for like 4 seconds, go out, and then defenses wouldn't know, was he going to run or is he going to throw it? And that threw all their defenses off. But it's just, I have a stat. So Lamar Jackson, this is from December 4th. That's from today. So Lamar Jackson is poor at escaping pressure this year. So pressure percentage faced is around 21%. And then pressure to sack ratio is at a little bit over 45%. That's not good.
That's not good. That's not good for Lamar Jackson. Nope. That's
Hits
not
the
good.
ball out. And this is the other thing, is they have talented wide receivers. Shift. I don't care what it takes. Just do West Coast offense with Lamar. Get the ball. There's no quick passes with this offense, and that's the biggest issue. You never see, Flowers run over the middle or, these quick 2-yard slants and just have them go. It's always these like lazy screen passes that Lamar does not know how to throw a screen pass. I don't know why he can throw it a million miles per hour north to south. You go east to west, all of a sudden it's like
Yeah.
a 2-year-old throwing.
That was especially early in his career, that was a thing that everybody would say was he can't throw outside the numbers, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I think he's outside the numbers down the field. I think he's fine. But yeah, they're just not a screen team. They just don't do it. I don't know if it's because Lamar can't do it or they don't feel they need to. But I think it's simpler than going like, oh, let's do West Coast offense. How about you run the ball? How about you turn around and you give the guy the ball? Give 22 the ball.
Or Mitchell.
Or
Either
Mitchell.
one.
Get him on the outside. You've made a point before. You think maybe the offensive line is telegraphing the run, which I think that was a Ronnie Stanley problem early in his career, right? Is the way his feet were set up. That could be it. Or alternatively, it just could be that the interior line sucks, which I think is the most. That's probably it. Falalala is no good. He's horrible. So
two Harbaugh's one defense. I don't think there's anybody better on the team, and I don't care what everybody says. Oh, Ben Cleveland, blah blah blah.
No, well,
No,
yeah, Harbaugh said that. He said that in a press conference, I think 2 weeks ago, that somebody asked them, they said, do you have the best 5 offensive linemen on the field? And he said, it's not even a hard question. The answer is yes. So Ben Cleveland's been on the team for what, 5 years, 4 years? And he's got to be under 50 snaps total. He's just not good. I don't know why he's even
fat and slow.
Yeah, he's just not good. I can't believe he's still on the team. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe he's got dirt on Harbaugh. Hopefully he does. Bring it out. We need something new. But the other thing about not running the ball was against the Bengals. The Bengals don't have a good defense. They have the worst defense in the league, and the Ravens scored 14 points.
Their defensive end, best defensive end,
was out.
Yep. And somehow Lamar was pressured a billion times.
Yep.
And
people pointed out, they said, okay, so Derrick Henry had it was 8 or 9 carries, and 4 of them were in the first quarter. There were none in the second quarter, 4 or 5 in the third quarter, and none in the fourth quarter. So Harbaugh was asked about that, and he said, well, we had, the lack of carries was because we had a couple 3 and outs, we had whatever. And it's like, John, it's not a lack of carries. It's no carries. 3 and outs don't matter. If what's his name? Rashid Ali, he's the 3rd string running back, right?
Rashid Ali has no business running the ball unless Derrick Henry's ankle is backwards.
He didn't really run the ball. But he had, among the 3 running backs, he had the most snaps. He was on the field more than Keaton Mitchell and Derrick Henry. So it's not a lack of carries. It's no carries, John. He had no carries in those quarters against the worst defense in the league. So, I mean, again, we're more than halfway through the season. We're in crunch time. We're in fantasy football playoff time. Lamar Jackson is my quarterback. I've lost 2 weeks in a row because he's getting single-digit points, and it's pissing me off. But, okay, we're not here to talk about fantasy football. They're 6-6.
Yeah, but
Pittsburgh's coming to town. Yep.
Yeah. And Harbaugh, this has been a Harbaugh issue since, I mean, we all know, I mean, if they didn't win that Super Bowl in 2012, he wouldn't be here. But that's a lot. Like, he panics every year.
He wouldn't be here after that because of that Super Bowl, or if they win that Super Bowl. If Joe Flacco didn't get hurt in 2018, John Harbaugh wouldn't be here because he wouldn't have put Lamar Jackson in. And they wouldn't have won 6 games in a row to end the year. And they wouldn't have gone to the playoffs. And that he would have been gone. Lamar Jackson saved his career.
But how many seasons can you look at this team? Well, maybe not this year, but last year it was probably the best roster of, that didn't win a Super Bowl, and then the year before that, and then the year before that. I mean, this is like the 2006 Ravens, where it was even better than the 2000s Ravens defense. And yes,
I think that's a topic for a future episode. Okay, let's die on those hills later. I don't agree, but I will agree. Last year and the year before, those are the 2 most egregious years in which you didn't even get a Super Bowl appearance. I mean, last year, unfortunately, you had to go to Buffalo because you had some bad losses in the regular season, and Buffalo didn't, so you have to go to Buffalo. It is what it is. And you had a chance to win that game, and you didn't because the guy you just extended has butterfingers. So okay, so I can somewhat excuse the playoff mistakes last year because they went to Buffalo in the snow. I say somewhat. When I say somewhat, I mean like 2%. At 98%, I'm saying you screwed it up again. You were a better team than Buffalo. I'll say that. You're a better team than Buffalo. You're a better team than Kansas City. You were the 2nd best team in the NFL last year. The only team that you could make an argument that was better was the Eagles. And I'm not convinced that even if the Ravens made the Super Bowl last year, they beat the Eagles because they already got mollywopped by them at home.
It would have been nice
So it
Yeah,
would have
at
been nice
least
to
give it a
see
shot.
it. Exactly.
Uh-huh.
The year before, I know they don't have Derrick Henry. You can make the argument that the 2024 team was more talented than the 2023 team. Fine. But you had, and this makes me so mad because I was in the purple seat. I drove up to sit in a purple seat for an AFC Championship game, and they held the Chiefs to 17 points and lost. That was the year. The fact that John Harbaugh made it out of that year, followed by last year, is mind-numbing to me. And I sent you that text a while ago, and maybe one day on this podcast I'll read it out loud because it just perfectly explained my feelings. I don't understand how he keeps his job. I want to say I don't think he keeps his job after this year if they miss the playoffs, but at this point it seems like he's invincible here. But they got Pittsburgh coming to town on Sunday, which I'll be in attendance. That'll be fun. And it's going to be that the winner is going to be 7-6 and in first place. That's insane. The Ravens should be. My expectations were that they would have one loss at this point. I was going to give them one loss to the Chiefs, the Lions, or the Bills, and two losses, and I was going to give them a loss to a division team, and they just had it with Cincinnati. So they should have two losses in my brain. Also in my brain, they've got one more chance to lose. You get one more, and it'll be either this week or at Cincinnati or at Pittsburgh. That's it. And that's the end of losses for me.
So I saw a stat. If the Ravens win on Sunday, they have a 70-something, like 72% chance of winning. If they lose, they have like a 20% chance of making the playoffs. That's why I meant not losing, but of the playoffs. If they lose, I think it's over. It's just, well, first off, if they lose, I can't have this team go to the playoffs anyways. Just tank, and I would even don't even make it worth it. The only way you make it worth it is if you ruin the Bengals' chances of making the playoffs and just giving it to the Steelers, which I'd be fine with because I think that'd be even more chaotic and more funny of the three teams. First,
the Bengals aren't going to make it. The
good.
Bengals, they're not going to make it. They're too far down.
No, they have a chance, and
I know they have a chance. What do they have? 4 wins?
Yeah, but I mean, now they're technically 2 games behind the Ravens and the Steelers.
Yeah,
but I mean,
I don't know. Their defense is too bad. I just don't think they have it in them.
I just think, I mean, the Patriots are good. The Bills are good.
Broncos
are
they have a good record. I'll give you that.
They have a good record.
I'll leave it at that.
Chargers are, well, first off, they're bleeding out because they do this time of the year. The Colts are bleeding out. Jaguars, I think, are both Jaguars and Colts are frauds. But I mean, nobody's winning. I mean, maybe the Patriots, but nobody's winning the Super Bowl in the AFC. It's going to be either the Eagles or the Rams or the Seahawks, which, they have a pretty good coach over there too. I mean,
yeah, what? No way. I can't believe, another person was lost to of the teams that are the subjects of this podcast. We're at two people we've mentioned.
Yeah,
that were within the team's grasp. They were in-house.
Not only that, James Franklin had a contract.
Yeah, he was coaching waiting.
Coaching waiting, and he didn't. Okay, anyways. Yeah. But we're at a point where this is what we did with the Orioles earlier in the season, where it was a lot of if they do this, if they do that. We never did that with the Ravens last year. It wasn't like if you have to start using the word if with the team, then it's over. Your season's over. Just move on. Wait for baseball. But
if the Ravens lose on Sunday, they're not going to the playoffs. That is my 95 Connected podcast guarantee.
I hope they don't.
Ravens lose on Sunday, they're not going to the playoffs because they have to go to Cincinnati next week. They have to go to Pittsburgh at the end of the year. Fortunately, they beat the Browns, and it wasn't easy in the most recent game, in the game in Cleveland. But if they don't win on Sunday, they're not going to playoffs. End of segment.
I don't want them to go. Yeah.
No, me neither. Just let me. You're going to have a second kid at playoff time. Yeah. You have enough stress. Let's just move on. Sit Lamar, put in Huntley. Let's just move on.
And the last thing is, I will say is, can you name the last I'll keep it low. Very good defensive end the Ravens have had.
Very good defensive end.
Yeah. Someone who can get to the quarterback. Someone who's just he's going to get 10 plus sacks or, hit the QB a couple times during the game.
I mean, it's got to be Suggs, right?
I think it's Suggs. I don't think they've drafted a good defensive end or even signed a good defensive end. And I don't hear,
they haven't been a big sack team in a while. Probably since Suggs. And even the guys that are getting the sacks for the Ravens, Oweh was just a dud. He had that one good play against the Chiefs. Judon, right. Judon.
I'll go with Judon. I'll say
Judon. Judon.
I miss him. Love that guy.
I'd take him now.
Right now. Yeah. But I would say if you look, the Achilles heel this team has had is getting to the quarterback. Burrow shits himself when he gets hit. All these guys do. Just tank and go get a good defensive end and trade up for it. I don't give a shit.
I don't care. I don't care. That's where I'm at with the Orioles. That's where I'm at with the Ravens. That's where I'm at with Maryland football. I don't care how you do it. I don't care. I hear all the time, especially with the Orioles, it's a business. I don't care. I don't care about the bottom line of the Orioles or the profitability of the Orioles. I don't.
Or the prospects.
Care.
All the prospects.
Right. I don't care. I want to see winning. I have more fun, just like everybody else in the world, when my teams are winning. I'm not having fun. I can't remember the last time I had fun watching a football team. I can't remember the last time I had fun watching a baseball team. It was 2 years ago.
This has been the worst year and you know what? This is I think a good way to end today. Will you be okay with sacrificing this god-awful 2025 sports season for Maryland, the whole state? Because the Orioles were supposed to be World Series contenders. That didn't happen. The Ravens were supposed to be Super Bowl contenders. That's not happening. Maryland football was supposed to take a step forward. That didn't happen.
No.
So I am okay if they sacrifice this year overall. If next year Maryland basketball is in a good spot, Maryland football is you can't get any worse. The Orioles are actually living up to expectations, and the Ravens, with all the cap space they'll have next year, do something smart and go get a defensive end and protect Lamar.
Yep. I'm in.
It's easy.
That is the podcast guarantee is we will not guarantee. What am I trying to say? That is our not motto. It's not a motto. It's our pledge. It's our pledge to other fans of these teams. We will mentally forego the rest of the 2025-26 seasons in favor of the future.
Yep.
That's what we'll do. We're going to do that for everybody who decided to tune in and listen to us ramble. This is going to be our worst episode because it's our first. We have no idea what the fuck we're doing. And we'll try again later. Next time, I think we'll talk about the O's. Hopefully, they've done something. I mean, Ryan Helsley, Taylor Ward, okay, whatever. And they're the kings of showing interest. So maybe something else comes out of showing interest. I don't think it's going to. I have because I'm sacrificing. Well, that counts for 2026. We'll talk about it next time. Maybe next time we'll talk about college football playoff. We'll talk about Hall of Fame voting. I have an idea. And that's where we will go next time. Josh, thank you.
Always a pleasure.
This was cathartic, which was the point. Therapeutic. And I hope people listen to it. I'm going to edit out the bad parts, which people won't know. Well, some people may say the whole thing was the bad part, but I'm going to edit out the really bad parts. And we're going to go again. Until you go away. And then I got to figure it out for a couple months.
We'll get Skinkle to talk about sports. They'll be entertaining. You can talk about the Patriots. Yeah.
No. All right. Josh.
All right.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
I'll talk to you at work.
Sounds good.
See ya.
Okay. Love you. Bye.